Yeah, Fran, you got that lead midway through the first half when you put in Keegan and Patrick. Just can you kind of describe what kind of lift they gave you at that moment?
Yeah, I just, commended those two guys, actually, in Joe and Jack. That lineup, I think, really turned the game around with their defensive intensity, created some offense with their defense, activity on the glass, and that's what those guys do. And that's what our team has to be, quite honestly, Mark. We got a lot of guys that can contribute in different ways. And then I thought, when the first group went back in, they kind of fed off that energy and excelled, to finish the half.
Our next question comes from David Eicholt. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, Fran, Northwestern got hot right at the start of the second half, three threes in the first 2 minutes. How did you guys kind of adjust to that, and how pleased were you with the response from your squad?
Yeah, I was really pleased because, we didn't panic. We ended up getting the stops we needed. That's the critical thing. They run really good stuff, whether it's, against the man, against the zone. And you got to be locked in because there's a lot of cutting. There's a lot of counters. They got away from us in transition. We didn't have a great possession or two in that stretch, and they made us pay, which is what they do. So then it came down to better possessions on offense and then better possessions on defense to get some consecutive stops, take the lead. I think they cut it to 3, get the lead back to 9.
Tom Kakert.
Fran, how important was it to get Jordan going, and how big were those? It seemed like those 2 transition threes in the second half where he just kind of pulled were really got him going.
Yeah, he was spectacular tonight. I mean, 24 and 5, 6 threes. I think you could kind of see it coming. He had a couple games that wouldn't be up to his standards, and he's a competitor, as fierce a competitor as I've ever been around. And he challenged himself to do what he does, and it was fun to watch.
Chad Leistikow.
Hey, Fran. How about Jordan's defense tonight? How did you assess that? Seemed like it was good.
It was very good. And, he stuck his nose on the glass, 5 rebounds. You're playing a team that shot 25 threes, so there's going to be some coming long. Your guards have to rebound the ball. I think the critical thing is, they made 11. They came out hot, and they were hot at the start of the second half. So when you get them to miss, you got to get that first miss. And, they had 8 offensive rebounds. We can live with that.
Mike Kloss.
Fran, I know that you often say that with players like Bohannon, and Bohannon in specific, you encourage him to keep shooting. You know that he's going to start making them. But how do you convince the player that? How does he need convincing when he's going through a bit of a slump?
I think 2 things on that, Mike. Number one, I think most players would appreciate that. When you're a 5th-year senior who's made over 300 threes, he probably doesn't need as much, but I gave it to him anyway. I had a long talk with him, and just remind him how great he is, who he is, what our team needs, and just go out and play with that kind of confidence and sort of reckless abandon, while at the same time, running the show. So it's got to be a great feeling for him right now with how he played, and because he knows he's capable of it. He had a fabulous game against North Carolina. He's had some other really good games, some other games where he wasn't needed as much, but I didn't take him out the whole second half because, Joe Toussaint sprained his ankle, so I wasn't going to put him back in.
Tom Kakert.
I was just going to ask you about Joe Toussaint. Do you think that's going to be something that's
I don't. I don't. I think it was enough to give me pause to put him back in. He really wasn't ready to go. as the second half went on, he was kind of anxious to get back in there, but I wasn't going to put him out there at less than 100%. And with an off day tomorrow and a game Saturday where we're going to need him.
David Eichholt.
Yeah, Fran, Luka, you know, you pride your teams on not turning the ball over. Luka's double team probably as much as any game this season, but he only had one turnover, and the ability between him and Connor when Connor was cutting to the hoop and he was double teamed. Just how pleased were you with Luka not forcing things tonight despite the double?
Yeah, I think that's the key. You know, no panic. They're trying to rush him. Don't play at your pace. If you can get it and go. If the double team comes, read it. Don't just throw it to the next guy that you see. Read it. Make them pay. And move it with a purpose, which is what he did.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, Fran, obviously Boo Buie is one of the best point guards in the conference. You held him to 2 points tonight on 1 of 8 shooting. I guess, what did you defensively to kind of frustrate him, do you think?
You know, he didn't get off to a good start. He missed a couple early. But, you know, I don't know there was anything special that we did other than to pay attention to him. You said it. He's one of the best players in our league. Obviously, we marked him, and our intention was to make it tough for him, be aware of him. You know, he shoots behind ball screens. He shoots with unbelievable range. He goes at any point in time and gets to the rim. You know, we just really were locked into him, I think.
Any further questions for Coach McCaffrey?
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Jordan. Just wanted to ask you about the 3-ball getting going tonight. It seemed like those 2 transition threes in the second half really freed you up. Is that kind of your view of it too?
Yeah, I mean, I've hit my fair share of transition threes. I feel like I'm almost patenting that move, you could say. So whenever I can kind of get to, you know, the shots that I've been hitting throughout my career is when my confidence starts going a little more. So I think the fact that I got to some spots that, you know, I've hit a lot of shots, like I said, my career really helped me, you know, moving forward in the second half to hit more.
Chad Leistiko.
Did you think your defense got you going tonight too?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a priority coming in. You know, I always thought my shot's gonna come at some point this season, but you know, when I got this counter point and I knew my assignment was Boo Buie, that, you know, I wanted to, you know, really be active on the defensive end and really make him work. And you know, a lot of it, what they do goes through the point guard. So I knew if I was able to disrupt him a little bit and, you know, get him off his flow of his game, that'd be huge for us to kind of get an edge going forward.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, Jordan, I'm just curious. Did you guys talk as a group about free throw shooting after the Minnesota game? I know you left a lot of points on the board there, and tonight you guys are much better.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that much. I think the game was lost in a couple other areas. You know, we obviously missed some free throws down the stretch, but we should have never been put in that position at Minnesota. So we have really good shooters on our team, and we have a lot of guys that continue to be in the gym and keep working. So it wasn't really stated that much.
Mike Halas.
Trying to unmove. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I'll get a couple in and be done with this. But Fran said he had a long talk with you. Did that help you at all? And then secondly, I heard your podcast the other day and you talked about how you've been struggling. How much have you been struggling? And was there any doubt in your mind that you could turn it around like this?
Yeah, for your first part of your question, you know, Fran brought me into his office a couple of days ago, and, you know, just was preaching what he always has since I've been here. You know, that he has the most confidence in me, and that's why he recruited me, was because of how I play it on the court and my swag, and how much different we're on the court when I'm like that. And he really hasn't been seeing that this part of the season. So, I mean, to transition to your other question, that kind of was, I think, where my struggles has been, is, you know, it just wasn't, I didn't feel like myself these past, you know, these first 7-8 games. You know, I played pretty well against North Carolina, but I just really haven't been, you know, moving as well. And I think, and I just had to realize, you know, I've been through 2 hip surgeries in a year and a half to 2 years. So, I mean, not to use that excuse, but I know I have a a lot of kind of catching up to do and, just getting my rhythm back. And it's going to take a couple games. And I think that kind of helped, talking to Coach McCaffrey and him kind of give me the nudge a little more just to realize that I'm a really good player and the things I've done at the University of Iowa and things I, can do in the future for this team.
David Eichholt.
Yeah, Jordan, what's it about Northwestern that you like playing against them so much? A Carver Hawkeye. I mean, we go, the intentional free throw miss, Chris Street, the miss, and then you go from the game winner last year, and then your first real, I guess, I know you played well against North Carolina, but then the bounce back game tonight. I know the win's the most important thing at the end of the day, but I mean, where is all this kind of rank you going up against Northwestern?
Well, I first want to ask, are you doing okay, David? I know you've had a stressful day.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I don't have a car, but I appreciate the tweet.
As long as you're healthy, that's all that matters. But no, I always Northwestern has always, for some reason, I play a little differently. You look back my sophomore year when I missed that free throw, like you mentioned, and junior year I hit the last second shot, and I think I had quite a bit of threes against Northwestern my sophomore year when I did miss that free throw as well. So I just try to do what they do and kind of use their strengths as weaknesses. I knew they're going to kind of crowd me this game. I knew that they're going to get into me and try to force some turnovers, and I knew they were going to hard hedge on ball screens. So I just try to take some little things that they do that they use as strengths and kind of use them that weaknesses, if that makes sense. And for some reason that kind of goes to a different level when I play these guys.
Chad Leistiko.
I know you're pretty aware of what's said out in the world. Anything that motivated you coming into this game off the court?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been a crazy year for everyone, and I think there's a lot of stress in a lot of households this year. And I think the fact that we're playing basketball is huge for a lot of people and entertainment-wise. And I think we all understand that a lot of people have been hurting throughout this country and throughout this world. And the fact that we're playing basketball, I think that helps a lot of people getting through a lot of mentally problems that they're going through. So I think all of on the team, we all understand that. We're all fortunate that we're playing. So at the end of the day, we realize that a lot of people do mean well. And I've always said this, Coach McCaffrey has said this as well. I think it's a silent minority that is out there that is really loud on social media sometimes. And, they just try to take over, what's said and try to be the main focus of a lot of attention. And I think a lot of people on this team realize that, and we really don't take it to our head that much. I think that's what's so special about this team. And we love our fan base, and there's a ton of people out there that really love Iowa Hawkeyes. And do want to do another shout out. I did on my podcast, but I want to shout out Hawkeye Elvis. He came to our game, waited outside after we got off our charter bus after the Minnesota game, or before the Minnesota game, and greeted us on Christmas Day. And I thought that was one of the coolest things, and made me pretty emotional before the game. I thought that was something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
If I can just ask one more, and then I'll be done. If I know when you're hot, how good can this team be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it still starts on defensive end. I think when I'm locked in defensively, and I think when everyone's locked in defensively, I think that's when we lead to a lot of transition baskets. And I think that's what really got me going is, we forced tough shots, and I was able to push the ball. And because of how fast I got out the court, I was able to get a three for myself. So I think the better we play defensively will in turn, kind of lead me to more easier baskets, lead to a lot of people to have easier baskets throughout our team.
Tom Kakert.
Jordan, this is going to be kind of a silly question, but is your podcast almost like a therapy session for you at times where you can kind of just talk out some things like your shooting and, like some of the social media stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really helpful, especially, the climate that we're in. Everything I feel like is really uptight right now, and there really isn't a lot going on. And the fact I'm able to use my free time, we're normally at Carver for 6 to 7 hours a day, but the fact that I'm able to go home sometimes, and it really only takes about an hour to 2 hours a week out of my time. But when I'm able to get on there, and there's a lot of people that I've gotten messages from throughout the Hawkeye community, throughout the entire country, honestly, about me, thanking me for speaking out about a lot of issues and thanking me for just even talking in the first place. And I think that's been really special for me because I've been able to interview a lot of cool people and really pick their brains. And I've been able to, connect with a lot of cool people that we're able to get on our podcast in the future that a lot of people don't know about yet. So I think that's been a special part. And I think you could say that it kind of has been a therapy session for me because I can just get a lot of things off my chest, and it's kind of an unfiltered take on a lot of thoughts that go through my head.
All right, thanks, Jordan. See no more questions. We'll let you go. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, CJ, what did you see out there in that first half in particular that you kind of felt like you could kind of take over there for a little bit?
Yeah, all week in practice, we kind of knew that Luka was going to get two at him, and that's just kind of probably how it's going to be the whole season, for how dominant he is. So I knew I was going to get some open looks early, and I just wanted to be aggressive and get good looks. I made that first one, and then I was rolling a little bit in the first half and was just reading the court really well. Was starting to move without the ball and really read how they were guarding me on screens, and was just able to get some open looks and create some shots for myself and give my teammates the ball.
David Eichholt, go ahead.
Yeah, CJ, Northwestern came out, hit 3 threes in the first 2 minutes of the second half. How were you guys able to kind of regroup? And I think you guys had some consecutive stops there over the next about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, we've been doing a really good job these last couple of days in practice of just staying connected. They're a great team. I'm sure you guys noticed if they're open, they're making it. So a team like that, you just got to stay connected. They're going to make shots. And I think we just did a great job of staying connected the whole game and just locking in on the next play and getting stops.
Chad Leistiko.
Hey, CJ, any sense before the game or at any point that you thought Jordan would kind of click tonight with his shot?
Yeah, he's a gamer. Everybody knows that. He's been struggling a little bit, but a guy like Jordan, he's been working before practice, after practice, every day. We have tremendous confidence in him. We want him shooting the ball, and obviously you saw why tonight.
Tom Kakert.
CJ, it seems like when Jordan's hitting those shots, when you're hitting shots, things are going to open up for Luka. Is that kind of what you saw during this game, that things started to open up again?
Yeah, early on they were really mugging Luka, trying to get the ball out of his hands, and I was starting to make shots. Jordan was starting to make shots. We were starting to get on the offensive glass a little bit. And then that second half, it opened up Luka to get some of those hooks, be able to pivot and get some layups, and allow him to get some jump shots off too.
David?
Yeah, CJ, it seems like this year especially you've really added driving as more part of your game rather than just standing on the perimeter. Have you noticed that teams are guarding you a little bit differently now that you've kind of added that element to your game?
Yeah, I was noticing early on in the game when I made a couple shots, they were really getting up into me. And I think the work I put in the summer, just being able to put it on the ground a little bit and create off screens, I was able to get some nice drive floaters. I had like a step back in the corner one time, just playing tight on me. I was just reading the defense.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, CJ, about midway through the first half, you were on the court with 4 backups, and you guys went on a nice little run there to kind of get that lead up to 8, especially Keegan and Patrick. I guess, can you just talk about what you guys did well there in that stretch?
They gave us a tremendous boost off the bench. It really got us going. We were able to get consecutive stops. Keegan and Patrick and Jack get into the glass. They're great players off the bench. We're so lucky to have those guys. And like I said, it really got us going.
Tom Kakert.
CJ, the defensive effort just seemed to be ramped up much more. You got a 35-second call. How important was that for you guys coming into this game after what happened up in Minnesota?
It was huge. Those 2 days in practice was all about staying connected, like I said, trying to get as much ball pressure as we can. It really disrupts teams. I thought we had really good ball pressure. We were eliminated with 1 shot. We were getting the rebound. We were going. Now we got to have carryover.
Mark Emmert.
Yeah, CJ, can you talk about the defense on Boo Buie in particular? It looked like he got kind of frustrated out there and started forcing some things.
Yeah, Jordan did a tremendous job on him. Whoever was on him did a great job of just being in his space, finding him early in transition, not letting him get transition threes. We were walling him off on screens. He's one of arguably the best players in our league. And we were able to control him tonight.
Anything further for CJ? All right. Thanks, CJ.
Yeah, thank you guys. Be safe.